For anyone who doesn't know your family story, can you introduce us to Eli and Ella and share when your world changed?
Sure. Eli and Ella are our two youngest kids. We have four kids. Eli and Ella are the youngest. And when Eli was 7 and Ella was 4, they were diagnosed with MLD, metachromatic leukodystrophy. Fortunately or unfortunately, I knew for quite some time there was something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
His gait was off. There were some things that I'd questioned the doctors about for a while, and no one seemed to think anything was wrong. Motherly instinct kicked in, and I just kept pushing for answers and pushing for different doctors. And finally, our doctor agreed to let us go to CHOP. We saw a neurologist there who did not think there was anything wrong with him. So we left. They would not give him an MRI. So then we went to,
Even with his gait being off?
no, they just thought he had a mild developmental delay. So
Okay.
then we went to DuPont, and the doctor there, she was young, neurologist, she thought the same thing. She only later told me that she saw a look in my eyes that she felt like I knew more than she did. So it was at that point she agreed to do an MRI,
Great.
which eventually, a few weeks later, led us to our diagnosis, which normally doesn't happen, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like
Yeah, it's
to get an answer that, yeah.
yeah, it's pretty unheard of for MLD to get an answer that quick.
Mm-hmm.
But we just so happen to have a leukodystrophy specialist
Wow.
walked through the MRI room as Eli was getting his MRI.
No way.
Yeah, and saw his brain and thought, oh my gosh, that looks like MLD. Quite simple once we
Yeah.
actually got the
And
MRI.
you tested Ella because of Eli.
Oh yeah, well once, when she called us in the room and gave us the bad news, look, she said, I only remember three things. Like it was neurodegenerative, genetic, and terminal. And there was like no treatment. But and because of that, I knew we had to have the rest of my kids tested.
Yeah.
And that's when Ella was tested, and 3 weeks later her diagnosis came back as
Yeah,
well.
because she wasn't showing symptoms yet, right? That's how I remember it.
No, not at all. She was perfect. That's why
That's what,
we
yeah.
could not believe that there could possibly be something wrong with her. But her brain told a different story
Mm.
because when they did the MRI, when we went to Milan, her brain had already had so much damage.
Do you want to explain MLD?
I mean, the statistics, they're not always perfect or correct, but supposedly one in every 40,000 live births, someone is born with MLD. There's a 25% chance if you and your husband are carriers, which you have to be.
You both have to be. Yeah.
Correct. And we didn't know that because no one talks about those sorts of things.
Hmm.
Mostly it's, do you want to be tested for cystic
Yeah.
fibrosis or things like that?
Yeah.
So we're both carriers. And when you're both carriers, you have a 25% chance of one of your children having MLD. And with four kids, realistically, we should have only had one. But
You have two.
but we have two, and Eric and Evan are both carriers of the disease
Oh, they
as
do
well.
carry it.
Yeah, yep.
Well, you have to have
Two carriers.
two
Yep.
carriers, right?
Yeah, like there's other diseases like ALD or certain other diseases where it only takes one person to
Okay.
transfer it over, but not MLD. You'd have to have two people.
I want to say, what are the odds? You probably know.
One in every 100 people in a room. If you put 100 people in a room, one person will be a carrier of MLD,
Okay.
which is crazy when you think about
I
it.
know.
That means there's a lot of carriers out there.
Wow. There's so many things that we're going to start testing for, I'm sure,
Oh,
as we
yeah,
keep learning more.
absolutely.
Like even when Tom and I were going to start a family, we asked because I'm type 1 diabetic, what are the odds?
Right.
And that has changed as well. That answer was 20 years ago. It was a really, really small percentage. Some doctors say it's more now, but we wanted to know because if it was really high, we weren't going to have, we
Yeah, you
weren't
don't
going to,
want to put
we
your
were going to
kid.
adopt. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a slippery slope when you start talking about things like that because some people are very, religious and they just want to whatever God's will is,
Oh, yeah.
they just
Yeah.
and other people would love to know so then they can make that decision, if they want to try and have kids or
Right.
do artificial insemination. There's other things you can do, but like I said, it's a slippery
That's
slope.
no, you're right. So you have been so public about the whole journey. Like, were you forced into it?
No, it's crazy. I remember like it was yesterday, just coming home from DuPont like that day. I remember where I was sitting, who I called. I was talking to Stacy Aquilante, and I remember I said, I have to get this out there. I have to find a way to save their life,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and of course, I know almost 14 years ago, but you think Facebook, I mean, there's so many people out there. And so Stacy actually helped me, and we just came up with the name. It was Eli's Prayer Warriors
Yeah.
before Ella was
Yeah.
diagnosed. And I was never one to ever think I would ever share my life. But when your life turns on a dime like that, and there's really, in my opinion, there was no other way around it, because I wanted to find a cure. I wanted to find people who knew the disease. I wanted
Yeah.
to just get every bit of information I could
Mm-hmm.
from people, or
Yeah.
so it was a no-brainer for me. And I didn't expect it to kind of take off the way it did, because our community has been, incredible, incredible with our
Mm-hmm.
family. And we would not have been able, we would have found a way, but they made it so much easier to be able to go to Milan, before Eli was accepted into the trial. We were paying for everything. And I look back and I wouldn't change. Obviously, there are some things that come up when you share your life on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But for 95%, we've always had a very positive experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful that I chose, and that my husband was in agreement with me, because if you don't have that agreement, I mean, that will pose a problem. But he was very supportive of me
In agreement
to sharing
sharing.
on social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
And he was so just on board with whatever I felt like I needed to
Mm-hmm.
do. And thank God, because I mean, that's realistically how we found the clinical trial,
Right.
was from someone on Facebook
Right.
that I met when I met other moms who their kids had MLD. And then I met Amy, and her son was in the trial.
So at first you were paying to fly there.
I was.
You guys are using your own money
Oh yeah.
to fly to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then how did that end up changing
Well, it didn't change for a while.
for a while?
And I mean, you're talking, there's four of us, and we're back and forth. The first time we went, there's four of us, and our flight was canceled. So then we were scheduled to see the doctors in Italy on a certain date. And because of the snow that February, we had to reschedule the flight so we could make sure we could actually see Dr. Biffy.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to miss out on that. So then we had to rebook the flight, and another, I think it was like 20,000.
I was just going to say, what did that cost?
Yeah, because we rebooked it in a matter of days to go to Milan. And I think it was a couple days or a day. But at that time, and I'm sure all parents can agree with this. I mean, do anything you can to try and save your kid's life. Because that's what it was. I mean, it was a death sentence. I mean, the doctor said they're going to die.
Right.
Or Eli's going to die.